Hello, today on Bachelor on a Budget, we are doing something a bit different here. I'm going to tell you why I started Bachelor on a Budget, how I started Bachelor on a Budget, and what that means for you, and also a bit on where the channel is going. So let's take this back to where I first started to learn how to cook. So growing up, I didn't have a microwave. As a kid, my mom didn't believe in them, so if I wanted food hot, I'd have to use a pan on the stove or cook something in the oven. Now, my mom still made tons of great meals every night, but if I wanted something during the day, I'd have to learn how to cook it. And my mom also encouraged that we help out with making some of the dishes. So I started out pretty young. After high school, I started working in an Italian restaurant where I started out as a dishwasher, then as a tapas cook, eventually moving up to line cook, and then I realized I wanted to move out into the front of the house, build some more social skills, and work as a server and potentially to bartending. And so I did that, started out busing, then hosting, then expediting, and serving, and finally got to do some bartending, which was an awesome experience, getting a taste of all those different elements. Fast forward, did some university, did some business and marketing. Wasn't hugely my thing, I was a little too ADHD, and so I went back and started working more full-time. I was working at a bar on the main strip in Vancouver, Granville Street. It's called The Royal. Awesome experience. I started out bussing there, and then bar backing behind the bar, helping the bartenders, and eventually bartending. So I was one of the youngest bartenders on that strip. And so I decided to move down with a couple friends I had made there, and they had an awesome bachelor pad downtown, and on the day I decided to move down, I found out that the place I was working was shutting down. So I didn't have a job, but I had saved up a bunch of money, and I'm living in this awesome bachelor pad. This place, right when you walked in, there was like a revolving stripper pole, which was a lot of fun. Spin around to go to the kitchen or do a bunch of cool tricks on. Lots of fun. Met a lot of cool people in that place, but I was definitely drinking a lot, partying too much, and spending a lot of money. I got some part-time jobs, kind of just working random gigs here, doing some bartending work, doing some labor jobs, and the bank account was just kind of going up and down, up and down. Not really saving much, not doing too much in life, just kind of exploring. So I'm drinking too much, maybe smoking a bit too much of the special stuff, if you know what I mean.
What the fuck is this thing?
And I'm feeling quite stagnant, that I'm not reaching my full potential. My ex-girlfriend and I had just broken up, and I feel like I needed to make some positive changes in my life. So a friend that I was working with lent me the book, The Brain That Changes Itself. Highly recommend this book, and I learned that the brain is plastic, that it is malleable, that it can adapt. And so I was thinking I was kind of like stuck, I was stagnated, that my mind is kind of fixed, it doesn't have huge potential for growth, I'm just going down this scattered path, that there was actually a lot of opportunity to learn and grow, and I didn't have that growth mindset. I was always stuck in a fixed mindset, and that really opened up an opportunity of larger thoughts and potential. So I started reading more. I learned about the brain and productivity and intelligence. I read the book Making a Good Brain Great, which was awesome. And I started to notice two consistent themes, that the most important elements for keeping a brain healthy and active is diet and exercise. And of course, there's plenty of other things that are important. Meditation for one, always striving to learn new things like activities like chess or dance. But exercise and diet were two really strong ones. So I started exercising more, doing pull-ups, using the pole a bit more, and cooking. Because my budget was like kind of fluctuating, I had to owe $1,000 on my credit card. Like I was never hugely in debt, just kind of up and down, because I was making good money when I was bartending.
There's more to life than a little money, you know.
So as I'm cooking more, I start saving a bit more money because I'm not going out as much. I'm not spending out money, $30, $40, $50 at a restaurant like I'd often do. And having more money, I'd have a bit more savings to spend on things. And then I started to see money as a resource. I could use that resource to put towards the things that I really valued. So I started using that money towards self-improvement. I bought more books. I bought equipment like a camera so I could create more. So I started investing in myself and becoming more frugal so I could put it towards the things that I really value, like my projects. I'd put more stuff towards marketing for my music production that I was doing on the side, and being able to fund different small ventures and projects that I had going. But I was still living in this bachelor pad, which was an awesome experience with some great buddies, and working these side part-time jobs at the bar. So I needed some big change in my life. So I decided I was going to travel. So in about 4 months, I saved up, got super frugal, and I saved up about $8,000. I went to Southeast Asia for 3 months by myself. Traveled all around. I went to Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Indonesia, and had an amazing time. If you haven't went and traveled by yourself, I highly recommend it. And in all this travel time, I had plenty of time to do more reading, and so I'd go to small little bookstores and buy some used books. I was starting in my backpacking bag. I think I had like 8 different books that I was carrying around because I wanted to bring them home. Reading and absorbing a ton of information. Travel is just great for that. And learning more about yourself, becoming more confident in your ability to manage different situations. Because when you're traveling, anything can happen. So I came back from traveling, and I started looking at different education opportunities, and I discovered Vancouver Film School's Entertainment Business Management program. And this was a program to learn how to produce things in all aspects of the entertainment industry. So I signed up. It was very expensive, but it was like a 1-year intensive with very hands-on, tangible projects. And it was awesome. I met some of my best friends there who I'm still great friends with, some of my business partners. And I highly recommend that. If your brain and your work ethic is not geared towards traditional academics, I recommend looking at one of those hands-on type programs, maybe that are really intense for a year or 2.
Is this a school project?
Yes, and it's a requirement. And it may sound easy, but nothing could be harder.
Because I got a lot of value out of it. Within that program, I learned how to produce a compilation album, which we actually produced, licensing different tracks from different artists, and that money all went towards charity. We produced a $30,000 short film. We also did different interview segments, so learning a really wide range of skills within producing things. And during my time there, I had the idea to do a cooking show. I had already built up a ton of skills learning how to cook, especially as like a young bachelor, and learning how to cook with a frugal mindset. So using ingredients that often go on sale. I kind of tabled that project, had lots of other things going. One for my final project, I wanted to do a 3D audio project. And so I built this dummy head. I'll show you. I built this dummy head recorder that can hear how we hear naturally with these ears. So there's a microphone on each side that connects down to here. And how we hear naturally is sound travels from one direction, and our pinnae, the outside of the ears, help us tell where that is coming from due to the reflections, and also how the sound travels around your head. And having one of these helps us to hear that. And so it produced these really interesting recordings. And now there's digital versions of making this, but this sounded really cool. And I had a bunch of different ideas to do this, had some script made, even was exploring audio porn, but kind of moved on to different things. Maybe I'll do an ASMR cooking video soon. Let me know if you'd like that. So after Vancouver Film School, I worked and started managing a nightclub, which was an awesome experience. I worked very closely with the owner, who was like a mentor to me, just actually visited him the other day. And then I moved on to my own project, which was, it was called Humercials, Success with a Punchline. So we were doing edutainment style videos, so entertaining and educational, kind of like speed reading and lucid dreaming, and how to accelerate the learning process. And we were kind of selling products. That was the whole Humercial part, where we were doing kind of humorous commercials. But it was too many things at once. I felt like if we had continued doing that, it would have been an awesome project. But during that time, I had met my girlfriend, and she wanted to move to Australia. So we moved to Australia. We moved to Melbourne, lived there for 8 months, and during that time I was cooking a lot. Working on my own personal projects, doing music production, working for a music startup abroad, bartending, but saving a lot of money, cooking a lot for myself and my girlfriend, because it was the first time that we had lived together. And really honing my skills. So I would look up recipes online, read the comments, like try new things, try new flavors and ingredients, really experimenting, but cooking at least 5 to 7 times a week. And eating out in Melbourne, where we were living, was expensive. And so we still did that here and there, but cooking a lot allowed me to save money to put towards those side projects that I was working on. And that's really the huge aspect of being frugal, is putting more of the money towards the things that you really value. And so if you really value going out to restaurants, great, then that's at the top of your values. But that's not the largest value that I have. And as my finances increase and it becomes more sensible to eat out more because it's time saving, then sure, I would do that. But at that point in my life, it made a lot more sense to cook to save a lot of money. And so I learned how to effectively shop at a grocery store, buying things on sale that were the most bang for your buck. So looking at how much 100 grams gets you from one product to the other and the various prices. So really learning a lot about that. So I come back from Australia and I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life. I realize I need some like solid corporate experience to really kind of bolster my resume before I can start going into more entrepreneurial endeavors. I need to feel what that corporate experience is really like. And so I find out about this company called Broadband TV, which is a YouTube network. And my friend who had kind of been helping out with this music startup told me about this company. And so I used my skills that I had gained through helping him with his music startup and my own music production and marketing that to apply for a music sales role. And I heard about this program called the Audience Development Program offered by YouTube to get YouTube certified. And so I took that program and absorbed as much as I could. It goes over everything about growing an audience and optimizing and managing your copyright. And part of it was creating content that you are passionate about. Otherwise, you just won't be interested in continuing to produce that content. So I thought, what am I passionate about and knowledgeable about that I could share consistently? And in thinking about that, I remembered the idea that I had tabled about the cooking show. So I came up with the idea of Bachelor on a Budget to teach people how to make healthy foods and be able to make them affordably. I even have a notebook here that I had started writing about the idea. So cooking show, the themes are healthy, whole foods, veggie based, that it would be humorous with funny, skilled actions, cheap, affordable ingredients that are nutritional, tasty, obviously, it should taste great. Ideally having some guest tasters, which I still need to do, maybe some YouTube personalities. I wrote down what equipment I already owned, and so I already had like a T3i DSLR and a GoPro, and so I was doing 2 different shots. I bought a new microphone, and so being frugal allowed me to fund this all myself, and I have been. I pay an editor consistently every week to help produce these videos, and that's been a huge help. I started trying to edit myself, and I just didn't have the time. With a full-time job, I'm still working full-time, probably a bit more than that. And so having an editor, my editor Chris, is a huge help. And so I've released a video every Tuesday for the past year and a half, about 80 plus videos now. And it's been awesome. So I am going to continue to produce these videos and release them every Tuesday. But in 2017, I want to add a bit more to what I'm doing with the show. So I think in 2017, I want to talk more about personal growth topics that I personally use, maybe some exercise topics, exercising on a budget, how I stay fit, talk a bit more about frugality and personal finance, and just bring more value that I have learned to you guys. So the cooking will still stay a main theme, but I want to start experimenting with more content that I'm very knowledgeable about and want to learn more about that I can share with you guys. I'm planning on having a big year in 2017, and I want to help you do the same. So if you have any topic ideas, leave them in the comments down below, or let me know what you think about me exploring these topics. Maybe you're not a fan, maybe you don't want to see that. I still want to create content that you guys are passionate about. So yeah, leave a comment down below. Comment, talk with me. Let's see what we can do together, because I need your help. I have a lot of ideas and projects that I'm working on to provide value for you guys, and I'm really excited to see where we can take this. I want to build a movement to help 100,000 people lead a healthier, more fulfilled life, And also definitely going to be incorporating a more plant-based diet. You've probably noticed that I've already started to do that. And honestly, the more I learn about food, the more my diet adapts to more plants. My most popular video is a ribs video, which I'm happy lots of people got a lot of value. It has 100,000 plus views. You may have noticed that a lot of my recent videos are mostly vegetarian or plant-based diets. I may still do some meat stuff here and there, but I'm definitely focused on a more plant-based diet because I believe that eating less meat is one of the greatest impacts that you personally can have on the environment, your health, and your own personal morals. Our current animal agriculture industry is atrocious, and we can help fix that. So do a bit more research on your own. This obviously isn't the video for talking about that. It is something I'm becoming a lot more passionate about and more knowledgeable. I will share a bit more about that with you guys as we go. And if you're still watching, thank you guys so much. Again, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of what we're going to be doing in 2017, and if there's any specific areas that you're struggling with or you want me to explore with you guys, I'm happy to dive in and see what we can do for 2017. Let's make it a great one. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.